Hey, folks, welcome from the streets of Paris at night. This is time for Rebel's Edge. And of course, because I'm really bad at math, I couldn't figure what the time was versus what it was where Pete is. So, of course, I'm dialing in a little late, so I'm sorry. But this is today's Rebel's Edge for the 22nd of January. Bang!
I was about to say, the guy's already lifting up a glass of red wine, for God's sakes.
Well, Pete, because over here it's 6 o'clock.
Oh,
So, as they say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
You're damn right. I don't blame you.
Well, I thought it was interesting that all of a sudden the markets gained some strength again, Pete, as soon as the ambulances go by or whatever. But the markets gained some strength from the president saying, I could, but I'm not. I could, but I'm not.
So true. That was, from a macro perspective, John, that's what turned the markets, though. It absolutely got the markets ripping to the upside. People are still advancing into the markets today and basically wiping out what was a pretty rough Tuesday, where we were giving up a heck of a lot for the Dow, for the S&P, and for the NASDAQ. And here we are, just kind of stair-stepping even a lot faster. We've pretty much, over the last 2 days, I would say we've definitely erased all of what we had lost on Tuesday. And it's amazing how strong this market continues to be as the day goes on. We just continue to just elevate more and more, John. I mean, bottom left to upper right. We have a good friend who talked about that forever. That's exactly what we're seeing right now on the big three.
Well, beyond macro then, Pete, what do we have as far as VIX? I bet it's down.
And you'd be right. I'll tell you what, John, the impressive part about the VIX is how it's had such a difficult time sustaining these moves. And we've said this now for a few months, but getting up and over 20, yeah, that's happened. 21, sure. 22, maybe. But it doesn't last very long, and it hasn't lasted very long. You just go back a few days ago when people were a little bit freaked out. Here we are today. Well, the VIX is down about 8%. It's underneath 16, about 1550. Gives you a little bit of an idea. And it's plunging as the day goes on. It just has been going south just further and further and further. So, and interesting to see how this whole thing is playing out, John. And I'll tell you what, for all the right reasons, I would say the VIX is about exactly where it should be. And why do I say that? Well, it's underneath 16, and I look at the S&P, and it's, up about 0.75%. I think that whole thing kind of makes a lot of sense. So around 16, you'd expect it to be close to 1%, but there's always a little bit of fudge room inside of that.
Well, let's dive into a prediction market, Pete, because the next Lululemon, there you go. Thank you, Jared. The next Lululemon CEO went shooting to the upside as far as the bets on that, Pete. As you see, also whether or not Trump is going to speak with the woman down in Venezuela. Now, a lot of people thought initially it would be her that the president would be speaking to, and that's, of course, why you see that spike right after the U.S. went in and took Maduro. But now it's spiking again. So they think that she's got a real shot again. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And this predictable market thing is just absolutely the coolest thing, the most outrageous thing. I mean, you can describe it however you want, but it just translates into just about everything and anything and everything that we do on a daily basis, right? I mean, and looking at that, to your point, John, it wasn't that long ago it had that initial spike, then it pulled back, then it kind of flatlined for a little while, but this is a pretty extraordinary move to the upside once again. So it looks like people are getting more and more interested in what's going on down in Venezuela and who's going to be in charge. No doubt about that.
Well, and there's only about what so far, Pete, 500 million in oil that we've got, that we get some of the benefit, if not all of it, from that oil. The president, of course, when we reopened it for sale, it went up like 20% because they had to sell it cheap back in the day, and now they're selling it for a fair market price, and thus the prices are doing this. All right, let's dive into some stocks, shall we, Pete?
Let's do it. Yep, we got that Corset Therapeutics coming at us, right?
Yeah, CORT seeing a big move today, and folks, if you're thinking that we're hearing a lot about pharma, biopharma, and so forth, you're right. We are. You know, there's a lot of speculation on all of these stocks. They drop and then they go back up. And as Pete always says, you got to be rather nimble if you're trading these stocks, because they can drop like a rock and they can also rocket higher. And some of that depends on the short interest.
Absolutely. And this one has some pretty substantial short interest, John. It's definitely in the double figures. Call it somewhere between 10 and 12%, something close to that anyway. By the way, the stock has not gotten anywhere close that they had in the pre-market. Pre-market, this stock was trading all the way up to 55. But during the regular trading session, we're talking about something up towards 40. And like you said, it pops, it drops, it's been all over the place. That is the world of therapeutics and biotech and whatever you want to use as your measuring stick. But ovarian cancer was what these guys were talking about, John, and the fact that they had this reduction of death and dropped it down. And the phase 3 trial, they were talking about 35% reduction in mortality. That's a big deal. That's why this stock has been shifting and moving and all that. Obviously, there's one more leg that they've got to get over to be able to get this thing, but they're going to be ready for the FDA, John, and looking for that. So I think that's why stock is up as much as 25%, maybe more than that even at one point in time. But when you look at the balance sheet for the kind of industry where they are, the balance sheet looks actually very, very solid. So because of all those things, I think this stock has plenty of room to the upside, especially if this thing can actually get approved by the FDA. This stock is it'll be above 55. There's no doubt. But that's if. That's not something that's going to happen right now.
Well, as far as our next one, Pete, by the way, this is 10, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, X. And by the way, Pete, this is also a nice Côte d'Aron that we're enjoying here at the sidewalk as the lights come up here in Paris tonight.
You know, these French people are going to say, you know what, these damn Americans. But anyway, I'll let you go.
Well, what do we got for our next stock, Pete?
Oh, you got to go with the metals company. I think that one's a very, very interesting story as well, John. TMC.
Yeah, TMC, folks. This one, TMC, look at that moonshot that Jared just put up on your screen, folks. The Metals Corp, they got a reduction in regulations, Pete. And we talk about this a lot because when the reductions are when rather the regulations are onerous, a lot of these companies can't do what they'd really be good at doing. And in this case, they're getting a reduction in those regulations, which means they can go deep sea fishing, if you will, for a lot of these rare earth elements or REEs. And that's what's spiking this stock today, Pete, is, hey, if all of a sudden those regulations are relaxed a little bit, we can do a lot more.
Yeah, they talked about the efficiencies of that, John, and that's a big deal, obviously. High short interest, that gave a little bit of extra oomph to this move of 15+% or thereabouts. It's got a strong balance sheet. I mean, everywhere you look, they do something very interesting with that deep sea mining that they do, John. And a lot of what they are pulling out of there is somewhere involved in the whole EV and the energy storage and all of that. So they're in the right place at the right time. And I think that they talked about this being very pivotal for them on the next step forward. Well, I totally agree. If they're going to give them the opportunities to get things done at a much more efficient pace, I think that this company really has a lot more upside than people probably expect right now. But that's over time. That's not going to happen tomorrow or the next day.
Well, and as the market rallies here, Pete, and you already mentioned about the VIX and broader the market itself, we're looking at, two more stocks that we've got to cover before we get to your sports.
Yeah, we got Venture Global. That's an interesting one, John. It's in the right spot, right time, right? It's nat gas, it's liquefaction, and all the rest of the things that go along with that. Nat gas is at the highest level it's been, John, since December of 2022. So just to give a little bit of a move that it's had, I mean, this thing is rocking. It's had a really nice move to the upside that we're seeing today. It's up, I think, close to 12% or thereabouts, but right place, right time. I think it's an interesting company that it probably doesn't get talked about enough because there's certain names that seem to always be in the front. But I think Venture Global is one that people probably will start paying a little bit more attention to when they're looking in the energy space, in particular, obviously oil or nat gas or whatever. How about this KRMN Holdings, John? Now this is an interesting one as well. KRMN, and these guys are defense stock. I mean, these guys are right in the middle of it all. And by the way, again, in the right place at the right time, because we all know what's going on globally, which means a lot of these defense stocks have been going higher and higher because they know that demand is coming.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Pete. We've talked about ONDS. We've talked about V-Wave, VWAV, which is Vision Wave. Talked about RCAT, RCAT, and AV. These are all stocks that will really move based on what the military demand is for the products they produce. Well, this one's making another move to the upside, Pete, and I don't think these folks are wrong. I think they're exactly right. This is where you want to have some of your money, not all of it, but definitely you're getting some good upside movement out of this one today, Pete, and it's one that we haven't talked about a lot, but it's certainly one that's really getting a lot of love today.
It is, and it's up 13%, but it should be up even more, John. I'm a little bit surprised, quite frankly, because they raised their outlook. That's a great thing for 2026. They've been doing these acquisitions that they are saying right now that the acquisitions immediately will be accretive to across the revenue, the earnings, the cash flow. You take a look, they're going to just say, yep, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. They're in the right place, right time. Obviously, we know that, but they also have high margins. So this is a company that it's up 13% today. I wouldn't be surprised if over the next 2, 3, 4 months, we see this thing going even significantly higher, potentially. I'd love to see some unusual option activity coming in on this one, John, because if we start seeing that, there's a lot of reasons why it would make a lot of sense. And another reason why you'd want to coattail onto that and ride with the folks that are buying.
Yep, we love riding with the winners, Pete. And whether it's a fund manager or whether it's the stock itself, if there's a bunch of folks piling into that stock, we want to ride right along with them.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as sports, Pete, I know that I sort of triggered you on Tuesday with Sean McDermott over there in Buffalo, and I know you want to talk about what's going on in Buffalo now.
Yeah. We'll start with that one, John, because we got two really great storylines. And I think what's going on in Buffalo is something that people probably, I think the reaction, if you're a Buffalo fan, would be, really? You're going to do that? I mean, they're going to make that next step where they fire the guy. And now there's all these people that are kind of backing up going, oh, it wasn't me, it was him. It wasn't me, it was him. I mean, really a lot of finger pointing going on. If you look at McDermott while he's been with the Bills, John, 9 years, he's won 12 games in the playoffs. He's got 7 consecutive playoff years. He's got 73% of the games that he has won, which is topped in the NFL in the last 6 years. I mean, everywhere you look, it's good, except for one thing. They just haven't been able to get over the hump. And the hump used to be the Kansas City Chiefs. But Now they go out there, and all they did in the playoffs is they went to the number 3 seed Jacksonville and beat them down there in Jacksonville, right? Then you go to the number 1 seed in Denver. You go out there, you go back and forth, some weird calls that shouldn't have been called, and they weren't called correctly. I get it. But at the same time, they went to the freaking wire, John. I mean, they were right there. And they had to do it in overtime where they lost. And unfortunately, we saw how sad Josh Allen was, and, his emotions were there, and it was telling people I don't think his emotions was saying, hey, get rid of the coach. I think his emotions were saying, damn, we were this close. We not only played every play and every game in the playoffs, and then you go to Denver and you put these guys on the line and all the rest of it, and it just didn't happen. And, that's what makes you sad. You're not all that sad when you go somewhere and you got your butt kicked. You got your butt kicked, that's a different reaction. But in this case, this was sad because they were there. And they were finally ready to get there, and they needed to get over that hump. And it wasn't KC, it's Denver. Denver's damn good. You got to give them all the credit in the world, but Denver's going to have a different quarterback as well, which is going to make things a little bit odd, I think, over the weekend. But yeah, what do you think of this, John? Do you think that they were right and they did more, or what do you think?
Pete, I think Sean McDermott was such a force in Buffalo that I think it's really hard to take the winningest coach in the last 10 years and basically say bye-bye for no reason. I mean, did he make a bad decision, Pete? Was that it? Did he not call timeout like Eberflus did with the Bears and things like that? No, he didn't do any of those mistakes. So if you don't give him the right people to basically be his bench, then how do you blame the coach? So this guy will get a great job coming out of this, Pete. And I certainly think that he is one of the best coaches out there, certainly has done a great job at Buffalo, and they're going to miss him, Pete.
I agree. I'm with you, John. I think it was like a knee-jerk reaction maybe or something. I mean, it didn't seem right that this guy who brought you all the way there and it just didn't happen. But it went all the way to overtime, for crying out loud. I mean, that's when you just gotta, I think you gotta be a little bit sharper about how you want to configure things. Somebody's going to get him, and somebody's going to get a really good coach. Now, he's got to be somewhere, John, where he's got a coachable quarterback and an opening that they've got, hopefully, that he could be there to be that mentor like he has been for Josh Allen. College, John, I'm going to go for this one. We've touched on this once before, but now it's turning into something even bigger. You remember the movie Hoosiers? The high school team in Indiana, and they go all the way and they do this whole thing, and it's unbelievable. Well, in this past year, and if you go back 2 years ago, you get an unbelievable run for the Indiana football team. And this year, you got an even more unbelievable run for the Indiana football team. I mean, they did absolutely everything that you would have wanted to have happen. They did it, and they remained undefeated as of right now. So how cool is that, right? Well, I wanted to throw out one other thing at you. When's the last time you heard of the Huskers, the Nebraska basketball team, being ranked number 1 or being relevant in any way number 2? Well, the answer is you'd have to go way, way back, John, to find a time where Nebraska basketball was anything more than just, a part of, in this case, the Big Ten right now. Well, they are 19-0 now after the win that they got last night. They beat Washington last night, John. I'm going to be in Lincoln. I was hoping they'd have a home game down there when I'm down there, because I'm going to be down there this weekend with Coach Osborne, who's going to be speaking at his church, which is a real unbelievable feeling and an unbelievable set of circumstances that I think it's going to be great. And Coach was such a nice man, and he basically said, I really want you to come down, and it'd be a lot of fun. So my wife and I are going to go down there. This team, though, John, 19-0. They just beat Washington by another 10 points. They have an incredible amount of elite shooting. They suffocate people on the defensive side. They're top 10 nationally in 2-point field goal percentage. I mean, this is Nebraska basketball. And when you see it, you just can't believe it. It's just like watching the Indiana football team and how that whole thing played out over the last, let's just use this year, but an incredible year. And I think Hoiberg, the fans have been very patient, I think, waiting for this. They did have one trip to the NCAA before in his tenure. I think he's been here 5 years at Nebraska. But he was also at Iowa State before that, before coming to Nebraska. I just am amazed, John, that each and every week you come back and there's Nebraska again. There's Nebraska again. I mean, they are doing things at Nebraska basketball like we have not seen in a very, very long time. So I think it's something that everybody's better start watching this one. You might want to, with your pools and everything else, you might want to start thinking about that because every week you look again and there's Nebraska winning another game. And by the way, they're beating people. They're not just winning, they're beating them. So interesting to see that it's not maybe doing so well on the football side, but they're doing damn good job on the basketball side, just like they do with the volleyball side for the girls at Nebraska. Unbelievable. But what they've been able to accomplish in the basketball team this year, and we are now getting close to February, it's amazing how well they're playing right now. Well, I tried to throw it to John, but you know what? The guy he's always on the move. That's who John is. It's not changed in the 60 years of my life, but he's always on the move, and we lost his signal, but that's okay. We'll see John tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Giddy up.